One of the biggest and most complete vintage Star Wars collections is up for sale. And I'm going through the top items, plus giving a little history lesson as to why these items are so important. Let's go. This auction is part 4 of the Jeff Jacobs collection, one of the most complete vintage Star Wars collections ever assembled in the world, which is what makes this collection so historic. And it's not just vintage Star Wars. There's G.I. Joe items up for auction, Transformers, and one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, The Black Hole. But what's more impressive is that the owner of this collection, Jeff Jacobs, started collecting these back in what Star Wars collectors call the dark times. The span starting from about 1988 to 1995, when Star Wars pretty much stood still. Before eBay, Facebook, the wide use of the internet, so collecting toys from the early 80s was a challenge not just to find in great condition, but to find out how much you should be paying for them. Nowadays, we can just glance at auction prices online, ask a forum online, or just go to a Facebook group and get some pretty quick answers. But Jeff amassed a huge collection pretty much by word of mouth and some traveling, buying up items when prices were relatively lower, and it was easier to find the gem mint items. This is what makes this collection so impressive. And in this auction by the Hakes Auction House, there are 451 amazing listings that all belonged to Jeff Jacobs. Some I have my eye on to buy, others on my wish list, and some I can feel are going to go for awesome prices, both in the affordable lane and in record-setting archive prices. And I'm not even gonna try to give estimates, because every time I do, I am always way wrong at guessing what these are gonna sell for, which is good because there's gonna be a ton of surprises. So let's get into the top 10 items that caught my eye for this part 4 of the Jacobs collection on Hakes. And starting us off at number 10, a 1978 Palitoy Death Star playset, considered by both American and US vintage Star Wars collectors as one of the best Star Wars playsets ever made. This one has an interesting story, as there was a US version made, but it was obviously made mostly of durable plastic with a different layout design. In the late 1970s, there was a petroleum distribution shortage, which was felt even tougher in the UK than in America, which made toys made out of plastic even more expensive. So designers from Palitoy made their version of the Death Star mainly out of very thick cardboard stock, with only the garbage chute, gun turret, and the clips made of plastic. But both the design and the durability of the cardboard have made this stand the test of time. And this example has been Q graded by AFA at a 75, and the Q stands for qualified, meaning that the box isn't factory sealed, but the items inside are still in its original sealed factory state, meaning that everything is unused, such as the cardboard, unopened baggies and such, and it is very rare to find these in factory sealed states, and this one I know is gonna be on a lot of collectors' radars around the world. And this toy was also distributed in Canada. Coming in at number 9, the 1983 Return of the Jedi AT-AT vehicle, or AT-AT vehicle. I don't care, I use them both. And if you were a kid in the 1980s, this was the one toy that you put on your Christmas list to Santa probably year after year. Or if you went to the toy store, this was the one that you stared at when you were in the Star Wars section at least. It's one of the best all-time toys ever made, with its articulated legs, the head that moves like a puppet, the opening side entrance, cockpit access, and laser cannon sounds with lights. Honestly, if this toy were made today, it would be considered an achievement. It was first available in 1981, but it would get a packaging upgrade in 1982, and this time including 10 bonus accessories, And then the last release would be for the Return of the Jedi in 1983, which is this example up for auction. And this one is gorgeous, graded by AFA at an 85. It's hard to find items like this in excellent condition because when collectors finally get one, they hold on to it. So whoever snags this particular one, I feel that they won't let it back on the market for a very, very long time. And there's only 7 others graded this high at an 85, with none being graded higher. Coming in at number 8, Boba Fett is always making these top 10 lists, at least my top 10 lists when it comes to auctions, and this one definitely belongs here. It's a 1980 Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett on a 41D card back, and Boba Fett was first released in 1979, both as a mail-away and a figure on its 21A Star Wars card back. But carded Boba Fetts have become a grail item for collectors, and these always command high prices. But this one here could be seen as a discounted version. But don't get me wrong, it's still gonna go for quite a bit of money. But since it's not a debut card and not on the Star Wars card backs, I think people are really gonna have their eye on this one. It's a beautiful example and it's graded AFA at an 85. Number 7, a 1985 Power of the Force AT-AT driver. And you're saying, so what? It's an AT-AT driver. Well, 2 things jump out when it comes to this one. First, you can only find this Power of the Force AT-AT driver in Australia. It was an Australian exclusive, and it has a mismatched coin in the Warwick coin. There never was a dedicated AT-AT driver coin made for the Power of the Force, but there was an AT-AT coin that never came paired with this figure on card, and the only way you could have gotten that AT-AT coin was the random luck of the draw if you sent in for the coin mail-away offer. This AT-AT driver Power of the Force mint on card is extremely rare, so to find this these days and in great sealed condition, super hard. And this example up for auction is graded 85 by AFA, with only 7 other examples having this score and none graded higher. At number 6, it's a 1978 Series 1 3-pack of the villains from the original Star Wars movie. Now, these are hard to find factory sealed and in the original box. These were made for the Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back movie figures and were department store exclusives through chains like JCPenney, Sears, and Montgomery Ward, so they never got a wide distribution, which makes these even tougher to find, and in total, there were 16 packaging variations, which have sent some collectors to assemble the full set, which is doable, but getting harder and harder as the years pass by. This one up for auction is graded 80 by AFA. Coming in at number 5, this is probably the greatest vintage Star Wars vehicle of all time, if not one of the greatest toys made of all time, the Millennium Falcon. It was first released in 1979 by Kenner and in the original Star Wars packaging, but up for auction is the 1980 version of the Empire Strikes Back packaging. Factory sealed, so all the good stuff is forever protected inside. And this toy had a lot of features, so much so that you can really call this vehicle a playset as well, with the removable hatch that shows off the living quarters area, the training ball, which is hard to find these days if you have it loose, the smuggling area, the laser turret, the entrance hatch, radar dish, the Desirec playing area, landing gear, cockpit area, laser battle sounds. It's just an amazing toy. And this one on auction, this one has the picture variant that was used on the original Star Wars box before they updated the image on the Empire Strikes Back packaging. And it's graded at an AFA 85 with only 2 others in this same population, with none graded higher. So I am really guessing that this one starts some bidding wars, because you don't ever see these go for sale in this grade of condition. People really hold on to these. Coming in at number 4, and this playset came in number 1 on my vintage Star Wars playset rankings. It's the 1978 Death Star Space Station. One of the best Star Wars toys, at least in my opinion, with the 4 levels of play, the trash compactor, Dianoga trash monster action figure, exploding laser gun turret, which is often found broken, but it's repairable. Also, the elevator feature, the light bridge, and the hard to find small plastic blue rope that you can use to swing across the chasm. And if you want a full video review, I've listed it down below. But this example is factory sealed and graded at an AFA 85 with none graded higher in this population. An absolute gem that, again, does not come on the auction block regularly, at least not in this great of condition. At number 3, this one's huge. So I'm currently trying to collect a complete run of the graded vintage Star Wars figures, the loose figures. When I saw this available on auction, my jaw, it really dropped on the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a complete loose graded run of the 1977 through 1985 Star Wars action figures. 112 figures to be exact. All of the figures are U graded, and the U stands for uncirculated, which means that it was removed from the sealed packaging by the grading company and placed into the grading acrylic directly. So essentially, it never touches human hands. This collection features min grades ranging from U95, a U95. I've never seen a 95 graded action figure, by the way. So it goes all the way from a U95 to only a few that are graded U80, with the majority of the collection being in the U90 to U85 range, which is completely amazing. And it includes a couple of Lily Letty figures, as well as the complete size Snoodles and the Rebo band, encased and graded in acrylic. You don't see complete sets like this go up for auction very often, so this is one that has my full attention, and I really can't wait to see. I mean, I might bid on it. I can't wait to see how much this goes for. At number 2. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, then you know that I go on collection runs to fulfill a complete run. My first one was the loose vintage Star Wars action figures, and I completed the entire collection, and I think my run was 112 figures, maybe 114. But there is always a hard to find item on those lists, or an item that is expensive to get these days. In my loose collection, it was the Vinyl Cape Jawa. For the play sets, it was the Cantina Adventure set. And for my current run of the vehicles, which I'm on right now, it's most likely going to be this one. The 1979 radio-controlled Jawa Sandcrawler, one of the hardest vintage vehicles to find complete, to find in working order, and in this case, factory sealed. This example is graded 85 with only 7 other examples in this population and none graded higher. I have been searching for this one lately, and it is hard to find even in okay condition that you would want to buy. So I'm definitely gonna be watching this one. And coming in at number 1, this is honestly one for the history books if you are a collector or even just a lover of Star Wars history. I mean, this one is literally from a history book. Have you heard of the Kellerman book? Its real title is Star Wars Vintage Action Figures, A Guide for Collectors, and it was authored by John Kellerman. It was published in 2003, and at the time, it was considered the Bible for vintage Star Wars collectors, with only the new one made by Red 5, which is the book I have right here and I reference almost every day. This new one is considered the Bible, but both of them in tandem are the holy grails of vintage Star Wars collectors. This item up for auction is the 12C cardback double telescoping Luke Skywalker. It's graded 85 by AFA, and it was the actual one that was used for the pictures inside the Kellerman book. So if you're in love with collecting because of its historical significance, this one is a double whammy. Because one, it's part of this historical auction, the Jeff Jacobs auction, and two, because it was inside such a renowned publication for vintage Star Wars collectors. And anyone who scores this item, they know that they're bidding on history. So that's why this one makes my #1 choice for any collector to be looking at this auction, just to see how much this goes for. So I want to thank Hake's Auction for sponsoring this video, and the link to the Jacobs auction is down there in my video description, so please check that out. And there's 451 items that are up for auction in this one, and not just Star Wars. There's G.I. Joe, Transformers, I mean, like I said, the Black Hole action figures. The auction goes from January 16th all the way to February 4th, 2026. And I really want to thank you for going on this preview with me of what I consider a very historic auction, not just for Star Wars collectors, but for any type of vintage collectors of the late 70s and early 80s. So what items are you looking at in this auction? And if you're watching this after the auction ends, what items did you actually end up getting? Please let me know, let all of us know down there in the comments. And to watch more videos like this, please click the videos on your screen now. And as always, my friends, thank you, and I'll see you next time.